So welcome to your first video on body language. Now there are two videos on body language because there is quite a lot to get through. And I could spend hours discussing this with you, but what I'm going to do is give you guys all of the relevant information that I think you guys need to know as new puppy owners. So what you guys need to do is become effective listeners to your puppy's body language. We bring them into this world and we expect a huge amount from them. We have high expectations of our puppies, but we have to bear in mind that there are going to be some situations where our puppies become stressed, and we need to be their advocate in those situations. We need to understand that behaviour, understand when they're stressed, and then what we can do is look at how can we deal with that behaviour when they are stressed and when they are showing those type of behaviours. So learning about body language doesn't just apply to your puppy, it also applies to other dogs as well. So I want you to start learning to read other dogs that you see on walks. For example, if you was at the doggy park and you saw a dog at a distance that looked a little bit uncomfortable, then what we can do is we can give that dog space. That dog does not need a puppy bouncing in its face, because all we're going to do there is cause conflict between both dogs, and actually if that dog got even more uncomfortable, it could affect your socialisation with your puppy too. So the more you can start to read other dogs' behaviours, the more that you can start to be an advocate for not only your puppy but other dogs as well on walks. So we do need to remember that not every puppy's body language is going to be the same when they're in a relaxed state, because every breed differs. So take, for example, a French Bulldog compared to a Labrador. Well, their facial expressions and their tail and their body movements, they're all going to differ, and they're going to look very different dogs when they're both in a relaxed state. So it's up to you guys to start watching your puppies when they're at home and when there's not much going on and they're fairly relaxed. Look at what they're doing. Look at how their ears are positioned, how their tail's positioned, and how their body is moving. It's really important to bear in mind that you must consider the environment and the context in which your puppy's behaviour is occurring. So for example, a puppy that's panting, they might not necessarily be stressed. If it's a hot day and they've just been running around with a ball, then actually they're panting because they're hot and they're not panting because they're stressed. So you must look at the context in which a behaviour is happening. Another example of this could be if your puppy has a raised paw. That could be that a dog is unsure and feeling a bit apprehensive. But equally, your puppy might be ready to go and pounce onto another dog to go and play. So again, you must be looking at the context in which it's happening, but also all the other behaviours that your puppy is showing at that point in time. So next, I'm going to go over a nice list of behaviours that you would see in a relaxed dog.
Looking at the eyes, we're looking for soft eyes that are around an almond shape. The mouth needs to be relaxed, so it's usually an open, relaxed mouth, and it's generally quite good if you can see also the bottom teeth, as that tells us that the temporalis and the masseter muscles in the puppy's head and jaw are nicely relaxed. When we're looking at our puppy's ears, we do need to consider the breed, because every breed has a different shaped ear. So it's up to you guys to learn what your puppy's neutral ear carriage is. For example, take a Vizsla, they would have a V-shaped ear, whereas a Corgi would have more of a bat-shaped ear where they're sticking up. So you must start to look and understand your puppy's ear position. So when we're looking at the puppy's tail, do bear in mind a waggy tail is not always a happy dog, so we need to look at the position of that tail. Notice here on the diagram that the tail is relaxed and in a neutral position. If the tail is high and erect, that could mean that your puppy is alert. Now that could be due to good or bad reasons, so you need to assess the context in which your puppy is showing that type of body language in, and look at all the other behaviours that your puppy is doing. A helicopter tail is usually a tail that moves in a nice flowing circular movement, and this usually occurs when your puppy is making a friendly greeting or anticipating a happy interaction, usually with another dog or a person. Here's just a few diagrams of a relaxed dog, so have a little look at how the ears look, the eyes, the mouth and the tail. Notice on diagram number 2, the dog is play bowing. This is a nice interaction that you'll see usually when two dogs are playing with one another.
It's also really important that you understand when your puppies are playing appropriately with other dogs. I'm going to show you a few videos next on what appropriate play should look like. It's important to note that when you're having dogs that have greetings for the first time, what we tend to see as a normal approach is they will approach on a bit of a curve. So you'll see them like angle around and then they'll go in for a bum sniff, which is really normal in doggy world for greeting. Now, what we need to look for as red flags when our dogs are greeting is the head-on greetings. Some dogs would see this, rude in doggy world, just like we would in humans. If I approach somebody really stiff, head on, and looked at them straight on and walked straight towards them, some people would find that really confrontational. And it's exactly the same in doggy world. So what you want to avoid is those head-on greetings as much as possible, or avoid that with dogs that you can see that are really lunging towards your puppy. If they're doing that and it's really head-on, there can be a lot of tension there. And then the interaction might not go as smoothly as you would have liked. So what we are looking for as a normal interaction is that nice curve.